History was made tonight as we have a brand new TNA World Champion. We got to talk about it. It's Sunday night. It's time to pod, baby.
All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the WeBook It podcast. Let's start the show.
Welcome in, everybody. It's your boy, Mike Jones, back here again with another episode of the WeBook It podcast. That's right, your number one spot for all of your wrestling. That's right. If you want NXT, if you want TNA, if you want WWE, if you want ROH, if you want AEW, if you want New Japan, if you want AAA down in Mexico, we got everything. We cover it all, baby, right here on this channel. And, you know, I look to my left, I look to my right, I look down, I look up. I'm all alone, y'all. This is Sunday Night Pod, and it's just me. That's right. It's Memorial Day weekend, so I did turn around and give the fellas the day off. So, yes, it is just me here. But, yeah, man, we got a lot to talk about because we're going to try something a little bit different tonight. We're going to review NXT Battleground, which 2025, which was one for the books. Shawn Michaels and the cast of NXT did their due diligence on this episode of NXT Battleground to knock it out the park. I thought the matches were tremendous. I really enjoyed them. They went head to head tonight with AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view. They had Anarchy in the arena as well as other matches. But for me, I covered NXT on Tuesday night, so you knew where I was coming from. I had to do what I had to do and give you guys this review of NXT Battleground 2025. So we start this show off with Kaani Jordan versus Sol Ruka for the NXT North American Women's Championship. So from this, we start this match off running fast out of the gates, off the ropes. Jordan sidesteps a drop kick, drop down, leapfrog, cartwheel, leapfrog, back spring, cartwheel, overleg, overswing. But yeah, it was just a bunch of different moves in between for these two. Like I said, these guys really went back and forth doing this match. One of the hot spots was Sol jumping up on the top rope and then doing an avalanche X Factor and connecting. But she was slow to capitalize off of that. And they continued to fight even after that. And yeah, man, like I said, the match itself just went on and on and on. But again, this match was still one of the better matches of the night. It was from the Culling Center in Tampa, Florida. So yeah, so Kaani Jordan had Sol Ruka's number at multiple points in this match, but Zaria saved the Women's North American Championship for Sol Ruka. And like I said, while Zaria was sent to the back for her actions, Ruka regained the momentum and caught Jordan with a unique top rope version of the Soul Snatcher for the win. Again, it's far too early in Ruka's title reign for her to lose this match, but the match itself and the way that she won, was a little bit on the questionable side. Again, no one brings the best out of Ruka quite like Jordan. While the Women's North American Champion is still figuring it out as a whole, she looked like one of the best pure athletes in WWE in this match. And again, she is somebody that they are going to build this division off of. And you can tell, you can see that people enjoy watching her in the ring. I do think that eventually her head's going to get too big for her heels, and her and Zaria are going to end up having to fight. I do foresee that happening, and it's going to be a good match when those two go at it for that North American Women's Championship. I think Zaria is going to play a big role in her holding on to the championship here for a while. They will probably have a rubber match, though, first. between Kaylani Jordan and Sol Ruka before we get to that match with Zarya. But you could tell that that's where they're headed. Zarya pushed Ruka out on a skateboard, then carried her the rest of the way down the ramp, which is hilarious. I think so. Ruka's probably going to end up starting to put her down or talk crazy to her, and that's when Zarya is going to turn around and defend herself. And when she does that, it's all over with from there. These two are going to have to fight. Next up, we have the Culling versus Hank Walker and Tank Ledger and Josh Briggs. So Sean Spears, Brooks Jensen, and Nico Vance definitely had the edge in this match due to their team experience. But the pure impact of the champions and Josh Briggs was the final decider in this one. So, like I said, this match was really meant to make the Culling look strong, and which it did. It served that purpose. Jensen took a clothesline from hell from Hank, and a clothesline from Hell and Hank. My bad. I'm sorry. And Hank to seal the victory. Afterward, the Culling laid out the champions and Briggs until Yoshiki Emanora took a steel chair away from Izzy Dame and helped clear the ring. Beyond the surprise Inamura appearance after the match, none of this action proved that wrong. The match was fine, but easily forgettable with a few noticeable and awkward mistakes. Again, these teams are still trying to figure it out. The Culling ended up looking worse coming out of this and never got a real title opportunity throughout. So yeah, like I said, Hank and Tank and Briggs defeated Spears, Vance, and Jensen by pinfall. Just not a great match. Again, Sarah Schreiber interviewed TNA's Mike Santana, who made it clear he was next up for the TNA World Championship. Charlie Dempsey disrespected Santana, but Tavion Heights challenged him to a respectful match on NXT. So I think we're going to get that match probably next week here on NXT. Now we move on to the Don, Tony D'Angelo versus Channing Stacks Lorenzo. So after a heated stretch of dominance from Tony D'Angelo, obviously he's going to come out the gates strong. Like I said, he's been wanting to get his hands on Stacks for a while now. But like I said, Tony D'Angelo does still have a heart, and the Don hesitated to finish the job, which allowed Stacks to keep on fighting. After a long fight, D'Angelo planted Stacks with the elevated spine buster, only for a Luca crucifixi. Wow, easy for me to say, right? Crucifixino to arrive as a distraction. The underboss low blowed the Don and hit the cement shoes for the victory. After this, Crucifino tried to hug the Don, but he would not let him, clearly not trusting the concierge anymore. When you worked with and teamed with a wrestler for years, you build chemistry, and that chemistry was obviously shown throughout this grudge match. So this match was literally so physical. It was a battle between these two, and they used the environment outside the ring to sell the hatred between these men without adding a stipulation. However, even with the chemistry of both men, the pacing was off. This match went too long and played out too many different dramatic story beats over just one match. D'Angelo's hesitation, the multiple finishers, and the Crucifino return. Also, this is as if it could be the end of a rivalry and not the first big match of a likely series. So again, it just went a little long and they just had to figure things out. But again, I do still think that this match was a good match. Again, Stacks defeated D'Angelo by pinfall. Stacks came out to a new, surprisingly solid theme and walked over the jacket he once was gifted by the Don. Booker T and Vic Joseph spent a good portion of the match arguing whether Stacks should already be considered the boss of the gang now. Like I said, all in all, just a pretty good match. Now we move on to the NXT Women's Championship match. It's Stephanie Vaquer versus Jordan Grace. So Stephanie and Jordan went to war in this match, and it took everything in La Premiera's arsenal to win this match. She pulled it out after the spiral tap. So literally, like I said, this match was such a back and forth match. Jordan Grace really worked well in this match. She did all that she needed to do. The Juggernaut knew that La Primera was the favorite and leaned heel in moments in this epic battle between them. But the ramp up to the spiral tap sold it as Valkyrie's final weapon against a worthy adversary, making it clear that the result in this night might not be the same in the future. So literally, just these two going back and forth with one another. Like I said, just really sealed that Jordan Grace is a star, and they are going to end up trusting her with that NXT Women's Championship here before soon, because Stephanie Valkyrie is not going to be in NXT much longer. Like I would say by Survivor Series, I would expect her to be making her way up to the main roster. We'll have to see. She could even be in the draft after SummerSlam, so we'll just have to watch and see. Grace nearly got the win off of a superplex into a jackhammer. But like I said, La Primera sent the Juggernaut through the barricade, then hit the SVB in the ring for a surprise near fall. Backstage, Valkyrie was arguing with Tormenta and Dailies. JC Jane attacked La Primera, forcing officials to break up the brawl. Then after that, we go on to Ricky Saints and Ethan Page, giving the fans a preview of what's going to happen during NXT. So backstage, Ava interrupted All Ego Ethan Page to advise him that he would open the show in his North American Championship Challenge against Ricky Saints, and the winner would defend the gold at Worlds Collide. So the Revolution got an in-ring interview with Sarah Schreiber, who promised to beat Page on Tuesday and stand as an ambassador for NXT at Worlds Collide. Then, of course, All Ego tried to sneak attack Saints, but he sent him outside the ring, then dived onto him and security. As a hype segment for NXT, again, this was still good business. This is good what needed to happen. Again, you want to build up that talent. You want to make sure that you make Ricky Saints look as big of a superstar as possible. And again, I do think Saints retains the championship. But we will see who will make their first time appearance on NXT from either AAA or TNA talent that's going to challenge for that gold next. While it was announced that the North American Championship would be defended at Worlds Collide, there was no challenger named. Next up, not even main eventing on its own namesake show, the NXT Championship is Obafemi versus Miles Bourne. I think we all can predict who won this match. I've been telling you guys for weeks since I've been doing the Who's Next with NXT. Obafemi dominated Miles Bourne early in this match, but the No Quarter Catch crew stars stayed strong and found technical openings to wear down the NXT champion. The Ruler was never outmatched, but Bourne kept him on his toes. After the challenger kicked out of the first fall from Grace, Oba hit two more, to seal the win. Oba has worked most of his matches in NXT in a fast-paced, high-impact style. This was paced much more like a typical WWE main event clash, which also leads me to believe they're preparing Obafemi to probably go up too. I do not think he'll stay around NXT much longer either. Again, the big point in this match wasn't necessarily for Miles Bourne to win the NXT championship. They love Obafemi. Obafemi is over right now, and they're not going to take that championship off of him yet. They're going to build somebody else up to come take that title from him and beat him for it. However, this whole match was set up so that the No Quarter Catch crew can show that he's a star, but also build up his feud against Charlie Dempsey. Again, Charlie Dempsey glared at Bourne when he put out his fist for a fist bump during his entrance. While Bourne was supposed to be the underdog babyface in this match, the crowd was behind Obafemi from the start. Vic Joseph frequently questioned the No Quarter Catch crew was not in Bourne's corner, while Booker T and Corey Graves said it kept Bourne focused. And at the end of the match, Oba gave a nod of approval to Bourne before he headed to the back. And then last but not least, folks, that's right, your main event, the TNA World Championship, Joe Hendry versus Trick Williams. For the first time, the TNA World title being defended in NXT in the main event. So Trick Williams felt the match falling away from him after Joe Hendry kicked out of the trick shot the first time. So then, like I said, he went and he brought in the TNA World Championship into the ring, which, by the way, that is one of the more beautiful belts in wrestling. While the referee tried to get it out quickly, Trick planted Hendry with the championship in the ring, followed by the trick shot for the win. And yes, folks, you do have a brand new TNA World Champion, and it is Trick Williams. Again, like I said, this is crazy to think that an NXT superstar is the TNA World Champion. It has any. We've never had anything like this before in the WWE time of a person holding this title like this. Again, the crowd was rocking with Hendry and chanted TNA to start. Trick hit Joe with the fallaway slam and went for the classic Hendry pose. He then caught the champion running for a bookend and a near fall. Booker T called out that he had been training Trick, followed by Trick hitting the spinner Rooney. Hendry made him pay for it with the bookend. And then after that, Hendry ducked an axe kick from Booker and hit the. I'm sorry, Hendry ducked an axe kick from Trick Williams and hit the standing ovation, but Trick got his foot on the bottom rope. Trick sent Hendry into the announce table with the bookend, then hit a Trick knee in the ring, but the champion kicked out of that one also. But and like I said, as that match began to fall away, Trick Williams went to his heel tactics, and guys, guess what? They paid off big time for him because he is your new TNA World Champion. That's right, your new TNA World Champion. So yeah, man, the next big TNA pay-per-view is World's End this coming Tuesday. We got Ricky Saints versus Ethan Page kicking off NXT this week, and I'm sure we'll hear from probably Joe Hendry as well as Trick Williams, the new TNA World Champion, as well as Obafemi, as well as Jordan Grace. It's going to be a packed show. You don't want to miss it. Listen, I appreciate each and every last one of you that tune into the We Book It podcast. Thank you so much for listening and for viewing this. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and celebrate your new TNA World Champion, Trick Williams.